Hi everyone, welcome to our next coffee chat, which is around effective explicit numeracy reviews, and Linnell's going to be giving us the valuable experience and expertise she has in this area. So I'll throw over to you, Linnell, and we can get started.
Yes, so hi everyone, and thanks for joining us at our coffee chat today. And I will share the screen so we can see what we're going to, numeracy reviews, high impact teaching strategy. And you might remember, if you've seen earlier coffee chats, that there's two types of review. The numeracy review that I will share with you today, which is my experience that I have shared with hundreds, if not thousands of teachers, of how to do a numeracy review with a number sense focus, will actually incorporate previous lesson review and also can weave into the lesson itself. So hopefully you'll understand that a little more. This will be a very quick intro into this particular type of review that I call numeracy warm-ups. I share with teachers and students that it helps stretch their maths brains and get them warmed up, ready for a maths lesson, just like a PE lesson, you would have stretches to warm up the muscles. So we're warming up the brain.
So it's more that type one, the previous lesson review, that you're really focusing on in this session.
Initially, yeah, but then subject to how you program your lesson, it can be a really good segue into it. So just very quickly, we want to let you know what number sense is. And this is the definition that I'll share with you. When I do full PD days with teachers, we thrash this out a little bit more, but just be aware that number sense is absolutely essential to helping kids get maths. That's why it's so important to push into the numeracy warm-up, to help kids understand how numbers relate to each other, how close they are, how far apart, how many of the same equal jumps they can have, etc. Hopefully you'll get more of an idea as we actually look at some examples. So this is an example that you would do with the first year of formal school, kindergarten in New South Wales, foundation in Victoria and whatever, is that you want children to understand a number line. You have to build up to this, of course, where that numbers get laid horizontally on a number line and that they get bigger when we go in that direction of the arrow. And I've actually got examples of this that if teachers are interested, you can reach out to me. I've created PowerPoints for the first and second and third years of school where I've actually unpacked how much of the curriculum or the New South Wales syllabus you can cover just doing a counting activity. And just have a look at it there on the screen. We're looking at whole numbers. We're looking at addition if we count forwards. We're looking at a subtraction if we count backwards. We're helping kids describe position when they're looking at a number line. So much is actually ticked off in a good numeracy review just in a counting activity. Okay. Counting by tens, this would be something you do from year one on. It's actually really helpful for kids to understand how to count by tens because it leads into being able to do split and jump strategies with addition and subtraction later on. Not to mention our whole decimal place value system is based on understanding of counting by 10, so vital. So here's something you can layer your numeracy warm-up with kids actually seeing things. I'm not proposing a counting warm-up which is just getting into the rhythm and the rhyme of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, which I've seen students do. That actually doesn't build number sense. That it just is a rote counting activity. Being able to see something like a number line or MAB, towers of 10 come up, that starts to help with the number sense. And you have to actually add in a lot of questions during that activity. So it'd be stopping them, say at this point, when we're at 80, stop the counting so they sort of interrupt their rhythm and rhyme and make them engage their brain and say, what comes next? Or I might have a some extra questions up my sleeve for some of the students who are way beyond this, but we're wanting to review this. I might just say, what would be 10 jumps ahead of 80? And I might pick certain students who might really stretch them. So this is how you can keep students engaged in a review activity. It doesn't have to just be a rote, brain gets disengaged, this is boring, done this before. Be ready for it, have this variety of visuals available, and have a variety of questions available to actually get the review really happening and to get the number sense really happening. You could have hundreds charts available. You could have 10 frames available. This is a really good activity to get children to do addition with. So you would put this slide up, for example, or you may have a little version of it just on a little whiteboard where you hold it up quickly and say, I'm not going to give you time to count these, but I think you'll be able to work out how many there are. And just in 2 or 3 seconds, hide it. And it's amazing how the kids go, and they sort of think they can't do it, but they can, because if they've learnt about 10 frames, they know that that's a full 10 frames, so that's 10, and I don't have to count it. And then there's a few more, and maybe they'll see it as 2 rows of 2 and 1 more, or maybe they'll see a column of 3 and another column of 2, and all of those conversations you can draw into the mix if you keep the kids together and get them talking and sharing. It really forces, this is often teachers will tell me that kids are still counting by ones. It's their only strategy. These activities that I've just shared help really push students past just counting by ones. I've worked with students in year 6 who still count by ones as their only strategy for solving addition and subtraction.
So just a question, would you actually explicitly teach them to count on from the larger number as one of your strategies as part of number sense? Because to me, it looks like that's 9 plus 6 as the equation or the addition fact that you're really looking at, but you're using it for a different purpose. So I guess I'm asking for a more traditional way as to whether you would teach them to count on from 9.
Well, what I've explained here is sort of the use of 10 frames and helping to actually help them see that once a 10 frame is full, you've got 10. That's one aspect of review. Remember, this is the review component. At some point, you've actually taught the students what 10 frames are, why we have them, the fact that once they're full, they are 10. And then you can get them to, well, they could see that 9 plus 6 is the same as 10 plus 5. And that's actually the easier equation to do. And that's what we're doing here, is bridging to 10. So this is a visual of bridging to 10. And if I have my whiteboard as an interactive whiteboard, or if I've actually got magnets on frames in front of, I could move them. So we could see all that happening. But remember, this is not a lesson. Yes, at some point it would be in a lesson, but I'm showing you once we've done that as a lesson, they can become quick little numeracy warm-up reviews that help children really consolidate that understanding of 10 frames, counting on from the bigger number, etc. You can get a lot of value. You can even get number sense out of reviewing shapes. You can ask the students which shape has more sides. How many sides has the red one? How many sides has the green one? Which has more? Which has less? So not only do you get to look at all the other strands, you can still get the number sets. Here's an example of the just getting kids to look at visuals on a screen, or I could be holding these up. These are the traditional, what we call the MAB, the mathematical attribute blocks of how many are there, getting them familiar and adding in the place value. So what I love to do is layer the different visuals that we use, pardon me, in mathematics in the warm-up review, because the more we use them, the more times we use them, it's going to be something that's very familiar to them later on in the independent practice part of the lesson.
You're checking their thinking as well as their declarative knowledge, and then you'll go on to do some work on strategies or procedural knowledge, which will be the processes that they go through as they're applying their number sense to mathematics.
That's right. So during that process that I raced you through, I would actually be capturing some assessment and trying to identify, do they already know this? Because if not, I need to I probably can't do anything about it in that review time, because that is what it is. It's a review time, but I need to note that maybe I had a student who couldn't count by tens. Maybe I had a student who didn't know that once a 10 frame was full, that it was 10, or was still counting by ones, or whatever else I might have picked up during that warm-up time. I need to note that and make a lesson about it. So for what strategies do I need to teach them, or maybe the whole class?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so there's certainly a lot more we can unpack on this. There's great books there by Jessica Shumway. I would highly recommend about those routines. And if you reach out to me, I can give you sort of a little bit more of a list around what numeracy warm-ups with a number sense focus should include, and also the links to where you could actually purchase the first 3 if you're interested in kindergarten, foundation, year 1 or year 2. And yeah, that's all for now, I guess.
Oh, thanks, Linnell. Bye for now.